Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and someone else.
Not your trusty sidekick.
Not your trusty sidekick, no. A different sidekick.
Yeah.
Today we're bringing you the Danish army. You will already have seen it in combat in our current campaign. It's having mixed victories and losses. It's almost even, so it's slightly on the side of the Danes at the moment. So you have seen the army in action if you watch any of those videos, and this is the army as a whole. Do a set of videos based on this army. I think you've seen most of the units in action. Yeah, I think you probably have, but I'll just run through them as you can see them. We have the Danish king here and his dismounted version as well, with the Danish battle standard, Danish knights, Danish spearmen, 2 regiments of Danish bladed troops. At the back are some Danish cavalry, sergeant figures, but the Danes didn't actually have sergeants. Then ballistae and catapults. We've also got a unit of Danish bowmen and Danish crossbowmen. And these are the dismounted knights, same as those guys there, but not on horses. And in the middle, just here, you've seen the guy that the sidekick seems to use the most in battles, and that is the knight commander of the Danish army, who would technically be a count.
It looks like that's what he would use.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's got some pretty good skills.
Yeah.
There's also a nice bishop just sort of hanging around, who the sidekick doesn't ever seem to pick as part of his army selection.
No. I think I might know why.
Why?
Got a feeling that it doesn't look good enough on the table for Alex. He's got a thing going on. He likes certain things that look like they're going to kill you and mow you down. That sign is like, he's stood there with his arm up in the air going, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but he also makes your army into a bunch of fanatics.
He might do, but Alex is not interested in
Nah,
that.
always have an army of fanatics, if you want my opinion.
Yeah.
So the Danish army for the medieval period, Denmark was a very powerful kingdom in the medieval period. It ruled a huge amount of territory. Northern Germany occasionally owned Sweden. Sometimes it owned Norway. It owned part of Britain. In fact, it owned all of Britain at one point. And little bits of northern Russia and Poland. So it got around a bit.
You can tell, can't you?
The time this army is set is the time of Vladimir II. You could use it for Vladimir I, although they were more in melee armour rather than having the surcloaks. Usually they'd just be in mail. Up until the mid 1300s, so you can use it for a large amount of time.
Yeah,
so,
because they were in chainmail and stuff quite a long time, weren't they? In centuries.
Well, these were, but they wore coats over the top.
Yeah.
In the desert, they wore coats over the top to stop the heat from burning you alive, turning you into an oven. And in Northern Europe and Eastern Europe, they wore it because it was cold and your armour would freeze.
Yeah.
And the Danes, I'm not sure if the Danes actually used fat to oil their armour. The Germans did. They used bear fat to oil their armour. So there would smell of rotting
Oh, that's
bear.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Really?
Which is the exact same complaint that the Romans had about the Germans. That the Romans smelt of rotting bear because they used to wash in bear fat.
Oh, that's not right.
They didn't wash in water, they used to cover themselves in bear fat and use it as perfume.
That's not right.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
But hey, look, I've seen the stuff that my son uses as deodorant, so, go back to bear fat in my opinion. As an army, it's pretty much an army to use on the table. It's pretty much a medieval army of the period. The knights are knights, but they're not the sort of unbelievably awesome knights that you would get in the Holy Orders. They're national knights, so they're counts and dukes who are really good at killing people for the king. So they're not Holy Order knights, which are completely different. So you've seen the Livonian knights in battle. They really do well in battle because they're warrior monks, they're lethal. These knights are just really good killers riding a horse. They don't dedicate their entire lives to being a knight. Not a proper knight anyway, that you'd call a proper knight. So, we'll do the individual videos in a bit, but any questions from my other sidekick?
I think it's just interesting. They're more like mercenaries, aren't they? Fighting on their own.
Crossbowmen tended to be mercenaries anyway.
Yeah, I mean...
These chaps here. There's a common misconception, which you will already know if you watch our channel, that feudal period armies were made up of mostly of peasants. Watch Braveheart, that lying film. No, they weren't made up of peasants. In the feudal system, the only way this guy made money, or any of these guys made money, was by having peasants paying tax. Technically, the duke or lord or king, whatever, owned the land, or the duke held the land in the name of the king. It was gifted to him for being really good at killing people. Scotsmen in the case of England. But if you're really good at killing Germans or Swedes, then the Danish king would give you large tracts of land in the middle of nowhere that you don't really want, and that would be your tax area. And anyone living in that land, you can tax.
So they would have to pay you?
Yes, they pay you, and that's how you make money. So, in the feudal period, you did not get peasants to fight. You didn't want your peasants on a battlefield, you wanted them nowhere near a battlefield. And especially in places like Germany, one way of attacking your enemy wouldn't be to besiege castles and stuff, because Germany was full of castles and it was really hard to do anything. You would burn the villages, you would kill the peasants.
Yeah, I understand that.
Because then you're denying tax to the other lord.
To the other lord, yeah.
And it's a long-term way of winning a war.
Ah, that's quite clever, actually.
Yeah, so all these troops here would actually be professional soldiers. They would work, not necessarily just for the Danish king, probably do work for the Danish king. Vladimir himself had his own private army. Which
That's what I was saying. I was saying that they're not set to just fighting for one person, are they? They are their own army.
Yes, but also the Danes would rent out to soldiers to fight.
Yeah.
They'd even fight for the Swedes occasionally if they got paid enough.
Yeah.
And as I said, Vladimir did actually have his own personal army, which he paid, which was a very efficient army and won him quite a few battles.
Yeah.
Which meant he didn't have to, at the time, raise taxes, therefore annoying the peasants, in order to raise a larger army.
Oh, yeah,
However, at the end of his reign, it all went to pot when the level of taxation got really annoying. There were several revolts, and Denmark pretty much fell apart. But yeah, so you are right in the sense that they would really be kind of mercenaries.
Yeah.
But probably, especially this campaign we're fighting,
they loyal to
they would be his own personal troops.
they would have been loyal to him, yeah.
Also, given that when he attacked Saaremaa, and also when he sent his troops into Estonia, the Livonian brothers got beat up by the Estonians.
Right.
And they asked, the Teutonic Order had sent troops, and the Teutonic Order were quite worried that Estonia could fall back into paganism and they could lose the whole of the Eastern Europe. And they were worried, and so they actually went to the King of Denmark, Vladimir, this chap, and said, hey, can you come and help? We'll owe you one, and we'll come and send your troops and help us.
Right.
And it was on the battlefields of Estonia where this flag came into existence, because the legend is, during the battle, the bishop put his hands in the air, this chap, put his hands in the air, and the army surged forward but the bishop was tired and wounded, and so his arms kept dropping, and so the soldiers kept falling back. And so during the battle, a flag fell from the sky, a piece of cloth covered in blood fell from the sky, and when they unfolded it, it was in the shape of the cross with blood around the edges.
Oh.
And they used that flag, and that became the symbol of Denmark, and it is the oldest existing flag in the world.
Right.
It is the oldest continuously used national flag.
Yeah.
I mean, the poor old English flag, we had to buddy up with the Scots on our flag, didn't we? And the Welsh. So
yeah. Oh well.
anyway, the English flag's racist, so we can't fight anymore.
Can't fight that
because
anymore.
it's a bad flag.
Yeah.
Bad flag.
Yeah. It's got red cross and everything.
Yeah, it's got like Christian cross, because Christianity's evil, isn't it?
Yeah.
After all, helped to end slavery around the world and stuff. But it's evil. It's racist and slavery. Anyway, colour scheme wise, I went for orange as an overall. Orange and white with bits of yellow. They seem to be a very popular colour in the period. Blue tended to be worn by normal civilians because they bought the cloth from Germany. And blue cloth was everywhere in Germany because that's where all the stuff that you make blue out of comes from, and so that's one of their exports.
Yeah.
So the mercenary troops, which are these guys, they have blue coats underneath their Danish tunics.
I get you. Yeah.
Whereas the household troops at the back don't have that. They have sort of any sort of colour underneath their tunic. So they'll have greens and blues and yellows and oranges and reds and purples.
Yeah.
Because that's just the stuff they're wearing.
Yeah.
The knights themselves are in orange. Quite a nice livery there. Orange and red because it just looks cool. And he's quite good. And he was common. Any more questions?
No, I think that's it for this part.
Okay, so this has just been an overview of the army. As I said, you've already seen it in battle, so you will have a rough idea of how it fights, and we will see you in our next video where we actually get into the actual units and the history of it. That is if you want to build a Danish army, or you might just find it vaguely interesting.
Yeah.
And for any more information on it, just get this book. It's awesome. It's full of like all sorts of stuff if you can read it. Yeah, the reading it's a problem because it's in most of it's foreign. So
well.
yeah, all the place names are indescribable. You cannot pronounce most of the names. So,
Right.
yeah, but we'll do a review on that later on.
Yeah.
We have been asked to do one, so we'll get around to that.
Yep.
So thank you very much for watching. This has been Imperator Vespasian and his other trusty sidekick.
Yep, that's true. Yeah. So if you'd like to leave a comment below to what you think to this Danish army, subscribe, and yeah, anything that you want to add into comments that you'd like, questions that you would like to raise, and
You're not used to doing YouTube videos, are you?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'll get used to
She's
it.
a noob. You'll have to bear with her.
Yeah, at least I don't speak as fast as he does.
No, that's true. He's incomprehensible as well.
Yeah.
Right, thank you very much for watching. This has been us.
Yeah.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
No, it's supposed to be a goodbye from him.
Yeah, no, but we're not the two Ronnies.
Yeah, okay. He never got that.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Goodbye.